Hey, what's going on, YouTubers all over the world? You already know who it is. It's your boy Mikey Savage 21. Happy 2017, everyone. Hope you all had a blessed Christmas and hope you all had a blessed New Year's Eve and a New Year's Day. And today we got a new video for you. I meant to get this up a little bit earlier, but hey, better late than never. Myself and my guests, we're going to be counting down the best films of 2016. But before we hop into the list, let's hear a word from one of our sponsors. Are you an up-and-coming musician or artist and you're looking to build yourself an official website or a brand website? Then Bandzoogle is the place that you need to go. And if you're subscribed to this channel, then you guys already know that that's how exactly I got my website. What I really like about Bandzoogle is it's really hands-on, but it's easy to do. You can create such intricate and delicate website layouts with the simple plugins and features that they have. Or you can, if you are more so into designing your own website, you're able to design it yourself. So everyone here who is subscribed to Mikey Savage 21 is going to get an exclusive link. And if you use this exclusive link, you are able to get a free 30-day trial, no credit card required trial for Bandzoogle. So, hey, subscribe to the channel because I have more offers and stuff like this coming up, as well as the gift card giveaway. With that being said, let's jump straight into the topic. Alright, so as I had mentioned, myself and my guests, we're going to be counting down the best movies of 2016. Make sure you stay on the lookout for our worst list of 2016, dealing with movies as well. So first, let me introduce my guest. You guys already know him. He's been pretty much a regular frequent guest on here. Welcome, Andy13. What's up, man?
What's going on? How y'all doing, YouTube? It's Andy13. Well, I'm here to rag on some movies and to hype up some movies.
All right, man. Yeah, man, I'm definitely excited about doing this. And the way we're going to do this is, again, this is the top 10. So I'm going to list off my number 5, and then he's going to list off his number 5, and then we're going to go all the way down, you know, till we get to our number 1s and everything. And also let us know down in the comment section below, what do you think of our best list? Do you agree with our best list? If so, let us know down in the comment section. Hey, and make sure you post your own list down there as well of what you think the top films were of 2016. Now, certain films were omitted from here because I haven't personally seen them, or they didn't get released theatrically, so we won't be listing any independent films or anything. These are films that were produced by a well-known studio, that were in theaters, and that we have each personally seen. And our discs, you know, differ from here to there, especially when you get to the worst list. But all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and jump in with my number 5 of the best movies of 2016. I'm gonna talk about Green Room. I absolutely loved Green Room. I got a chance to watch it earlier this week, and it definitely had to make my number 5 list. I was contemplating whether I wanted to have it at 4 or 5 because this film is just so genuinely great. This year has been one of the best years for horror. You know, I mean, you had Don't Breathe, you had Lights Out. I mean, say what you will about the Blair Witch film, that was also good as well. So this year seems like the resurgence for horror films, and this one is just a fantastic film. Rest in peace to Anton Yelchin, who delivered a fantastic performance. Same thing with Imogen Poots, and Patrick Stewart is one of the most terrifying villains I have seen on screen. His physical presence was not that terrifying, but whenever he spoke, you just absolutely feared the dread and saw how the dread spread across the character's face. So yeah, Green Room is definitely going to be my number 5. Andy13, have you seen Green Room?
I have not actually seen Green Room, but I have read reviews. And I have to agree with you from what I've seen from other reviewers, other YouTubers, and just people in general, that Patrick Stewart, while he doesn't seem scary, from what I've heard from his dialogue, from everything about the character he was playing, it was just absolutely horrifying.
Hey, I agree with that 100%. Plus, you know, this also was the resurgence for dogs in horror films as well. You got a great sequence in Don't Breathe, and this one in Green Room had multiple sequences with fighting dogs. So yeah, make sure you go check out Green Room, because I'm definitely telling you guys, this is a movie that was in theaters not too long. It was in there for a little bit in AMC. I actually had to catch this on Blu-ray, but I definitely recommend you either picking it up from Redbox or just checking it out whenever it comes available on Netflix. But all right, Andrew, so your number 5 best movie. What do you have, man?
My number 5 for one of the best movies of 2016, and honestly, this would have been a lot higher on the list if it was not such a great year for movies, is Star Wars Rogue One, or Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, whatever the heck you call it. It was a fantastic movie. You get to see how the Rebels got a hold of the Death Star plans. You got to see that crazy moment with Darth Vader. It was just fantastic. You get introduced to new stormtroopers. I mean, it was just a great movie. That's all I can really say. It was just a fantastic movie.
And of course, with this list, we're not going to get into too many spoilers as well. We're going to keep this spoiler free. But yeah, just to go along on your thoughts as well with Rogue One, I absolutely loved it. And I'll spoiler alert, I guess, it is on my list for one of the best films of 2016, because yeah, I liked everything like you just said, Andrew, just reflecting more on that. I like how we got introduced to the characters in the story, the way they set us up in this lore. And then I gotta say, this is one of the best prequel films we have had in a long time, and it sets up so well, especially with the ending leading right up to A New Hope. So yeah, definitely check out Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. But alright, for my number 4, I have another horror film on here, and I actually just mentioned it not too long ago. For my number 4 of the best film of 2016, I'm going with Don't Breathe. Now, Don't Breathe is a movie that nobody saw coming. This film was made for like a little shoestring budget, I think of maybe like 10 million, and it grossed over 155 million worldwide. So it's no surprise that we're going to be getting a sequel to this. But Stephen Lang, his overall presence in this film, you felt that this blind man wasn't going to be threatening in any way whatsoever. But the way he just carried himself on this film, and he didn't have that much dialogue, but he said so many words with his body movements. Fede Alvarez did a fantastic job of directing this film. His overall camera movements, and how each shot you had to make sure you paid attention, because each shot was something that was letting you know what was going to happen later on. I got to commend all of the actors. Dylan Minnette, I loved his character in here. And I just love all 3 of our characters that we have in here. You felt for the characters. At first, when you see the film, you're like, okay, I'm rooting for the blind man. But then after you see the horrors that this blind man has inflicted on these teenagers and on the world in general, you just start to root for these kids, which is so bad. You have that internal struggle of who do you root for in this film. But yeah, definitely check out Don't Breathe. It's already available, I believe, on Netflix. And if you don't have Netflix, then definitely pick this up on Redbox. Andrew, have you seen Don't Breathe?
Again, just like Green Room, I have not, but I've read reviews, and from what I've seen from reviewers, I do have to agree with you. What really gets me from what I've seen from the reviews of this movie is you do have that internal struggle of you want to feel bad for this extremely disabled man because he's blind, can't see. But at the same time, you really, really want to root for the teenagers because he's a horrible guy. You can't really argue when someone's a bad person, someone's a bad person.
Yeah, you're right on that, man. All right, so what do you have on your number 4, man?
One I did not think would make the list, again, is The Edge of 17. This is just a great coming-of-age movie. The performances were amazing. Just everything about this movie, I didn't think it would move me the way it did, but it just blew my mind. It was a fantastic movie.
And from what I've heard, Woody Harrelson delivered a powerful performance along with the main actress as well. I actually did not get a chance to check this out in theaters because it didn't stay in there too long, because it just kind of got lost in the shuffle with some of the other Oscar films that came out. But yeah, definitely check out The Edge of 17. It's great. It's a great coming of age movie, especially for you young ladies out there. A lot of these coming of age films focus more so on the male's perspective, but I like how this one focused more so on the female's perspective, and because we don't get a lot of those. So yeah, definitely check that out. All right, so for my number 3, and really the next 2 could have been flip-flop, and I go back and forth all the time in my head on these 2. But my number 3 is going to be Deadpool. Deadpool can just honestly speak for itself, whether you're talking about the marketing for this film, the film itself, the way Tim Miller directed this, the way that Ryan Reynolds portrayed Wade Wilson / Deadpool. I loved the look of Colossus. I love the look of Negasonic Teenage Warhead and how they changed up the powers and everything. And I gotta say, the villain Ajax here, this was a villain done right. Because a lot of times what I complain about with Marvel films is they do not know how to deliver good villains. And you can say the same thing for the Fox Marvel universe. Sometimes they don't know how to deliver for their villains. Like, you know, case in point, Apocalypse. He wasn't that threatening, but this villain actually did seem more grounded and more threatening to the character of Wade Wilson / Deadpool. And I got to give a shout out to Gina Carano, because she actually, you know, served this film well as well. Even though she didn't have that much dialogue in this film, I actually did enjoy the parts between her and Ajax, her interaction with Ryan Reynolds' character, and her interaction with Colossus as well. Andrew, what did you think of Deadpool?
I freaking loved it. Everything Gina Carano did as Angel Dust was just absolutely incredible. I mean, there was even that funny scene in the final battle. You said no spoilers, so I'm not going to spoil it, but come on, who hasn't seen this movie? That funny scene where you have, I can't believe I'm saying this, the nip slip was just absolutely hilarious. To where Colossus just covers it up and becomes the perfect gentleman. I mean, it is so great. It is just, it adds to the funny, and like you said about the villains, they don't do a good job setting them up. I'm kind of happy Ajax isn't around anymore, but I'm kind of sad because he would have been a great villain to move into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It would have been great. My favorite part of Deadpool had to be Negasonic Teenage Warhead, just because that name is so awesome. And just the generalized view of the entire movie is just amazing. Right down to the stupid bar hop best friend.
Right. Oh, I almost forgot. You know, big shout out to TJ Miller. I almost forgot about him as well.
And, I mean, it was just a fantastically done movie. Deadpool is one of my all-time favorite. You can't even call him a superhero. He's Van Wilder. He's an anti-hero. He's everything I wanted to see out of a superhero movie, just rolled into one.
Right, and I can agree with that as well, man. I can definitely agree with that as well. All right, so moving on down the list, man, what do you have for your number 3?
My number 3, and this one was, again, a tough choice for me because it was such a great year for movies, is Captain America Civil War. From the airport scene to the way they set everything up to where it's all about the freaking Sokovia Accords. Just everything about this movie, the way it makes you pick a side, the introduction of Spider-Man, and again, that airport battle, the introduction of Black Panther was just so well done. This movie, I think I stood up in the movie theater and started clapping. It blew my mind. I went in there with low expectations, and it just absolutely blew it out of the water.
Yeah, no, this actually is my next film on my list as well. Yeah, this film definitely blew my expectations out of the water. I definitely went in with very high expectations because I go in with high expectations for all the Marvel films. But this film was just one of the greatest films ever. And you can honestly argue that the Captain America trilogy has to be one of the best trilogies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or just in general, because the way that you come off of the success of the Winter Soldier and then you just come into this film with the premise of Iron Man versus Captain America. I mean, literally, how can you argue against that? I mean, that's one of the things that I gotta say that I honestly loved overall, because it was just that good of a film. It was just that good of a movie. And yeah, I love Chris Evans as Captain America. I think he is a fantastic Captain America. I love what he does. I love Robert Downey Jr.'s take on Iron Man. I think he's one of the best people we have. And I even Daniel Bruhl's character as the villain, a lot of people said that he didn't need to be in this film, but I can say that he honestly did need to be in this film for certain things to transpire, because he made the events go a lot better. I gotta give him, a mad shout out to excuse me, I always get these two mixed up. Chadwick Boseman for his portrayal of Black Panther. I absolutely loved him. And then can we just mention Tom Holland and his epic cameo as Spider-Man. Nobody expected Spider-Man to be in this film until you saw like one of the last trailers that they released, and everybody was like, okay, is he going to be as good as Tobey Maguire's, or is he going to be as good as Andrew Garfield's? And I gotta say, from what we have seen so far in just that movie and from the trailer that they released for Homecoming last month, yes, Tom Holland is going to be a force to be reckoned with as this cinematic universe's version of Spider-Man. So yeah, definitely check out Captain America Civil War if you have not had a chance to check out that film yet.
And then, hang on, there was one scene I absolutely loved in Civil War, and I'm going to go full spoiler here, but again, just like with Deadpool, who hasn't seen this movie? That scene between Captain America and Spider-Man, where he asks him where he's from, and he says Queens, and Captain America just, I can't remember if he salutes him or what it is, and he just says Brooklyn, and runs off. It was just absolutely perfect. It's two New Yorkers beating the crap out of each other. It is great.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking along the lines of even the action in this film, and then I'm going to move on to the next one, because I could literally talk about Captain America Civil War all day. Yeah, the action sequences, again, even with the opening action sequence where they're over in Lagos, how that, set up for the rest of the film and the action that was in there. And then, of course, the airport scene is going to be one of the best fight scenes of 2016. And just in general, I don't see how in the world they're going to top that sequence, because, I mean, here you have a group of superheroes on each side fighting each other. Not only do they have their own internal struggles and their own personal things that they're going through with, but then to see it come to the surface, and then the ending fight sequence between Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and Iron Man. That sequence alone was just so powerful and so moving, because you have Tony Stark here who finds out that Captain America has known all along about his parents being killed by the Winter Soldier. So it's just one of those really powerful, moving scenes. And then you almost have the death of Rhodey's character, played by Don Cheadle. So yeah, definitely check out Captain America Civil War. But all right, we got two more left, guys, on our list. All right, so Andrew, if I remember, okay, yeah, we got one more on our list. Take that back. All right, so Andrew, what do you have for your number two?
My number two is one, honestly, everybody probably saw coming, because it's another movie that, again, most of the world has seen, and it is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Because, oh my god, you have the introduction of Grindelwald, who was the world, again, I'm not trying to spoil, but I'm a huge Harry Potter nerd. He was the world's most powerful dark wizard before Voldemort ever even came along. And then later on in the series, you're going to get to see that legendary duel between him and Dumbledore. You get the introduction of Newt Scamander, who, honestly, and a lot of people don't know this, Newt Scamander's grandson actually married Luna Lovegood, of all people. And, I mean, it's just, the movie blew my mind. You get to finally see all these mythical creatures we've only heard about from Hagrid. And my favorite sequence, I think, was that Thunderbird just flying off into the middle of New York. You get introduced to the American magical community. You get to see different terms, like instead of muggles, it's no-mages. I mean, it's just, the movie blew me away. J.K. Rowling blew me away again, and I can't wait for the next one. I absolutely cannot wait.
And just to speak on the lines of this film as well, it didn't make my list, unfortunately, but it was neck and neck with Green Room, because yeah, Fantastic Beasts was an overall good film. Now, if you try to compare it to some of the other Harry Potter films, it's not going to stand up as well, but I gotta say, it was definitely a fantastic prequel, and I can't wait to see where they go with this story. Again, just speaking on the lines of Eddie Redmayne's take on Newt Scamander, or whether you have even the appearance of, spoiler alert, Johnny Depp's take on Grindelwald, or even the fact that you have Colin Farrell in this film, and the reveal of his character and what his true motivations are. And then I definitely gotta commend and talk about what's the guy's oh, he's in the Justice League movie. Oh gosh, Ezra Miller. Definitely gotta give. Yes, gotta definitely talk about the way he was set up into the film and his weird, strange relationship with Colin Farrell's character. So yeah, definitely check out Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. But wrapping this on up, guys, the one that I have at the top of my list, I had already kind of somewhat spoiled it at the beginning. You guys already know Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. This has to have been one of the best films I have seen all year. This is one of the best prequels I have ever witnessed. This is just one of the best films overall from 2016 that I have personally seen. I enjoyed watching it in a theater in IMAX 3D. This was a film that I could just literally talk hours about. You have the introduction of these rebel characters. You have the final cinematic appearance of Saw Gerrera after we have talked about him so much in Rebels and Clone Wars and how they mention his name in certain things. But we actually got to see the actual character be brought to life thanks to Forrest Whitaker. I absolutely enjoyed Felicity Jones, her take as Jyn Erso, and then Mads Mikkelsen, again, playing another one of these powerful characters. I mean, we essentially had just saw him literally a month or so ago playing in the Doctor Strange movie as Caecilius, and then now we see him playing this figure of you don't know whether or not you trust his motives. And then again, just the appearance and presence of Darth Vader. And like I went and said in my non-spoilers review, I love Darth Vader. I love the way that they use him. They didn't have him too much. They peppered him in when he needed to be peppered in. This is how you pepper a character in, but keeping the main focus on the story of the rebels and them getting the plans to the Death Star. So yes, to me, Rogue One was the best film of 2016. It was very neck and neck with Captain America Civil War, but just me being the big Star Wars fan that I am, and just the cinephile that I am, looking at what they did with this story and how they set this up so beautifully leading into episode 4. Literally, when I finished watching this that night, I had to go to Walmart and buy the original episode 4, 5, and 6 trilogy on Blu-ray and DVD because I wanted to know the rest of the story. Because again, this sets up so perfectly for A New Hope, and the beginning of the film leads just right into the beginning of A New Hope. And like I said, that film has one of the most horrific scenes I have ever seen with Darth Vader literally just igniting the lightsaber and literally just taking out these rebels left and right. And then I also like, and again, I have the spoiler banner up for this, I love essentially how they killed all the characters off. Now, a lot of you might be like, well, why would you tell me this? If you realize the story of where it's going and how it leads into episode 4, and how they even mentioned that that most of the Rebel Alliance was taken out,
trying to get the plans in A New Hope.
Exactly, it tells you exactly. So to me, them all passing away was not that big of a deal. It was still emotional, and I still felt the weight behind each of those characters. So yes, please, if you have not checked it out yet, please check out Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. Again, I know I kind of spoiled a little big plot of you, but believe me, there is so much to this story that I had not even gotten into. And again, I'll make sure I have the appropriate labels for this. So yes, Andrew, what was your #1 film of 2016?
We have already mentioned my favorite movie of 2016. We already knew what it was going to be because I went total fanboy when you brought it up, and because it gave Ryan Reynolds his third and final chance to get a superhero character right after that god-awful Green Lantern movie and that god-awful Deadpool display in X-Men Origins.
Hey, and don't forget about his appearance in the last Blade film.
That was actually good. He was good in the Blade movies.
It was all right.
As Hannibal, he was actually decent. But my #1 pick for 2016 goes to Deadpool. Captain Deadpool. No, just Deadpool. Sorry, I had to throw in the movie reference there. It was perfect.
Yeah, man, I can definitely agree with this being one of the best films that I have actually seen as well. Again, this was neck and neck with Captain America Civil War, and if I had not seen Rogue One when I did, and just the way it just set up the lore and the story, it probably would have been on my list as well. But all right, guys, that is our list for the best films of 2016. Please let us know down in the comment section below what you thought of our list. Please post your own list down in the comment section below. And remember to like, share, and subscribe. It always helps out the channel. Make sure you go follow Andy13 at NeoCloudian. What is it? Neo Space Cloudian on Instagram, and you can follow me on all the social media sites at I Am Testify. Thank you again so much for tuning into this video, and let's make 2017 a great year. We got a great slew of films coming out, but if you're still interested and want to know what our worst picks were of the year 2016, and boy howdy, there were a bunch of stinkers, a lot of stonkers, as people would say. Make sure you check out part 2 of this video where we list off the worst films of 2016. Thank you again so much for tuning in, and I hope you all have a blessed day. Peace out, fams.
Peace out, guys. See you in the next video.